Hey, everybody. So we're just waiting a couple of minutes for our guys from Do It Wise to show up. The session's just opened right now, so we're putting everything together. I know the team of moderators in the various sessions are running through the paces, and we've all done dry runs and everything, so we should be good to go pretty soon. Hey, Stoyan, how are you?
Hey, Patrick. Nice to see you again. I hope audio is coming fine on my end.
I can hear you good. I'm just waiting for Stanimir, and then we should be pretty much good to go.
Yep.
Although if I recall, he's handling chat mostly for you, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Excellent. Okay. I know it's before the official time, but just watching the session attendees list, I feel like I should be announcing everybody as they come in. Right, Stanimir is here. We have, looks like 26 attendees in this session, so we'll give everybody a couple of minutes. I know it takes a little bit to kind of adjust to the platform. So we'll give everybody a couple of minutes to gather, and then we'll run through some of the intros, and then we can get going. All right, you guys. So let's kind of get moving. My portion of this is very perfunctory moderation stuff, so I'll just do my little bit. This session is being recorded, so if you feel like you're missing something, or if you come in part of the way through, then we can always fill the rest of that in. It's not a big deal. And then just to kind of call everybody's attention to some of the elements of the platform here. If you are looking to speak or ask a question live while we're going through this session, on the right-hand side of your page, there's a chat tab, and within that chat tab, you can differentiate between the overall event chat versus this individual session chat. So we encourage everybody who has input, if you have questions, or if for any reason any of our speakers brings up a poll or wants to have discussion with the audience, please use that session chat, which is what Stanimir and I will be monitoring to ensure that we answer everybody's questions and we can take care of any issues that come up as far as this session goes. So just to give everybody a quick run through of what it is that we're looking at in this session. Do It Wise is a professional services company with their headquarters is located in Bulgaria. They have presence across Europe, USA, the Middle East, and Africa, with a focus on digital transformation, integration services, operation services, and implementation services. Do It Wise is a SaltStack, ServiceNow Elite, and Micro Focus Gold partner with more than 70 consultants. Stoyan Markov is the CTO of Do It Wise with more than 10 years experience in cloud network data center automations and DevOps transformations. And Stanimir Kozarev, who is assisting us today, is a senior solution architect with Do It Wise with more than 10 years experience data center automation and DevOps transformations as well. So I welcome both Stoyan and Stanimir to the stage. By all means, if anybody has questions, again, surface those in the chat. Again, that's on the right-hand side, there's a chat tab, and within that, there is a very specific session identifier, which I'll type in here. Just to call everybody's attention to that. So if there are any questions that surface, you can either direct message me or Stanimir, or you can chat directly into the session chat. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the intro, Patrick. Thank you very much for outlining this wonderful presentation of Do It Wise. All right, thank you very much for everyone for joining the session. This is going to be, as you saw in the agenda, session on NetOps automation with SaltStack and ServiceNow. Even more than that. The agenda as follows is we're going to check on the case for network automation, what came before, NetOps with SaltStack, and the real world. That's going to be the demo, ServiceNow plus SaltStack demo, and then some Q&As. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to address them in chat. So network automation is not new. It's 30 plus years of innovation and evolutions, different platforms, different vendors there. But the problem is that it's grounded in monolithic on-premise approach of application tied to platforms. And it's run by siloed teams with clear demarcation of responsibility. Usually it's characterized by wonk release cycles, brittle architectures, and dependency-driven inertia. So this leads to high cost, tightly coupled processes and tools. That's slow, that's not good. That's not what we want. The new operational approaches demand change. Well, the move to microservices-based architecture has challenged the old operational model. Services are delivered across multiple platforms and locations now. Move from one release every 18 months to more than 30 releases per year. Network vendors start to embrace more and more Linux, Python, and API-centric service chaining. Move to full-stack operations with increasing business agility and configuration dependency, and that's the DevSecOps movement. Applications are utilizing cleaner delivery vehicles now, VMs, containers, public clouds, etc. And operations are organizing around the product, not the technology. So what came before? Network automation is not something new. However, a lot of companies are facing the following issues. It's too expensive. Most of the enterprise-ready automation platforms on the market today are quite expensive and require extensive training to be employed successfully. On the other hand, the homegrown solution require extensive developer knowledge and dedication, and are tailored to specific environment, devices, or use cases, maybe combination of these, and require constant development and maintenance. And it's really a good point of that is when some significant change within the network landscape kicks in, then there is a lot of work and a lot of catching up to do. Then they're too brittle. One of the main problems with network automation platforms is keeping up with the latest network functionality or supporting the latest device features like new operating systems and new device features, change in device configuration introduced with the new operating system, etc. And to keep up with such changes and support these features, it requires extra time and has additional costs for automation platform vendor companies. And they're too narrow. And the problem is that automation platforms are too narrow, or as I call them, one-trick pony. What's behind this term is the fact that they're pinned to specific vendor only, or in best case scenario, they are pinned to network devices only. And well, network automation platforms provide and deliver what they are designed to do. They do not deliver value in terms of service orchestration and usually require additional components or solutions to provide service orchestration end-to-end. So there is where NetOps with SaltStack kicks in. Why and where SaltStack? Well, the increasing complexity and scale of networks today led architects to seek out abstraction to simplify management and control. While abstracting configuration results in losing some of the pinpoint control, it's giving you the ability to scale operationally your network, or not just the network, everything. In practice, the abstraction is realized by a centralized controller component as configuration broker with its own API. The controller basically is responsible for translating policy constructs into vendor-specific configuration. So this is where SaltStack kicks in. Thanks to SaltStack features, we can utilize it as a central controller component and use intent-based networking, not only with different software-defined network technologies such as VMware NSX, Cisco ACI, Juniper, Northstar controller, etc., but with traditional and hybrid networks, including cloud networks as well. And what is an intent-based network? Well, intent-based network is the idea of network administrator defining a desired state of the network and having automated network orchestration software implementing those policies. So intent-based models declare what to do, but not how to do it. And this is the difference here. For example, let's say NetOps team might want to create a connectivity service, right? They don't describe route targets, route distinguishers, BGP address families, nor specific packet encapsulations. Rather, they declare that a point-to-point connectivity service should be created between two service points. In turn, SaltStack transforms that declaration into service, device, and technology-specific semantics and propagates them to the network devices. Not only that, but we'll demonstrate how to gain additional benefits such as fine-grained configuration change management by using SaltStack as central controller component. Also, because of SaltStack advanced features, it can be used in a variety of other use cases, such as part of data analytic tools in network telemetry. In this case, it can be used to process events for abnormal flows, increase data rate, or connection numbers, or it can be used as a part of network auditing tool such as assessment of an existing network, including the hardware, configuration, architecture, and security. As you can see, the use cases don't stop there, but these are just some of them. What's the real world demo which we are going to show you today? Well, it is comprised of a couple of solutions, consists of a couple of solutions. Well, first and foremost, of course, SaltStack, as mentioned, ServiceNow, which is going to be our enterprise service management platform. Then we have a NetBox, which is our data center inventory system. We've got GNS3, where we are going to run our traditional network simulation. We've got Cisco ACI for this purpose. We are going to run VMware vCenter, and we have a Palo Alto Networks firewall solution deployed. Integration-wise, we are going to see the following. On top, we are going to see our enterprise service management platform, which acts as business process orchestration. So on top, we have the service portal, where we have our service catalog and, of course, our offer catalog. And from the offer catalog, service requests are being processed by the workflow process engine, which sends the service fulfillment request to the SaltStack Enterprise, which is our network orchestration tool, which is essentially a service orchestration. And on the bottom, as you can see, we have our infrastructure landscape, Cisco ACI, which is in data center A. Then we have Cisco ACI in data center B. Then we have our Palo Alto firewall solution. We have our vCenter, which is our virtual hypervisor. And we have our data center inventory system, which is NetBox. Apart from that, we have our traditional Cisco network infrastructure, which is running in this case in GNS3 because it's in our lab, but in reality, it's going to be a heterogeneous network environment. So what we have as a business intent, right? We have on the left side, we have DC1, which has a couple of tenancies side. And basically what we are going to do, actually, I'm going to start there. What we are going to do, we are going to onboard an application for remote tenant and overlock on authorized change in device configurations as part of the configuration change management. This is using a hybrid networking operational model. On the left side, as I mentioned, is DC1. So this is our service provider data center or enterprise data center. This is a hybrid managed, or in other words, SDN plus traditional network. On the right side, we have DC2, which is a customer location or enterprise remote location, and it's being run by, or it's relying on traditional network. What's going to happen during the demo as a business process flow is that we are going to submit our service request, and we are going to see that we have two offerings in the service catalog, one for Cisco ACI and one for onboarding the tenant in our heterogeneous environment. And then once our service request gets approved, automatic change request is going to be triggered. It's a normal change request, so we need an approval. Once we get an approval for our change request, our workflow will trigger a SaltStack orchestration job, which is going to provision and configure resources in Cisco ACI, or configure the Cisco network devices, or configure the Palo Alto firewall, or some combination. And then we are going to get our status back in ServiceNow, and we are getting an email saying, well, your offer is fulfilled. You can use your environment now. Basically, we have three use cases for today. The first use case is going to be a configuration of multi-environment networking services in software-defined network. The second use case is going to be a new tenant onboarding configuration in traditional heterogeneous network. And the third use case is going to be a configuration and compliance management, basically unauthorized change detection. And I'm going to stop the presentation here, and I'm going to move to the interesting part of the session, I guess, and that's the demo, right? So what we have here, let me show you. We have our vCenter, where we run our two Cisco ACIs. These are simulators, but regardless, they're full-fledged simulators. All functions are working fine. They're going to simulate our two data centers. Then we have our GNS3 running on vCenter, and we have our Palo Alto firewall running here as well. Apart from that, because of the integration between Cisco ACI and VMware's vCenter, we have our distributed switches from both Cisco ACIs propagated properly here. Then we have the two Cisco ACIs. There you go. That's our first Cisco ACI, and this is our second one. There you go. So as you can see, let me show you. Apart from the out-of-the-box tenants, we don't have anything else configured here, so it's brand new. Same goes for this one. So we don't have any tenants configured apart from the out-of-the-box ones. We have our integration with VMware in place in the first ACI and then in the second one. So there you go. And apart from that, we have something interesting, and that's related to use case number 3, but still I'm going to show you. We have configured a syswalk destination, and our syswalk destination is our SaltStack Enterprise, right? And this goes on both Cisco ACIs, okay? So there you go. Right. So I'm going to go back in the tenants. Nothing there. Then we have our Palo Alto, and as you can see, there are no policies inside, right? So it's empty. So just out of the box policies, the default policies are in. So let's go and request something out of the service portal. What I'm going to request is Cisco ACI resources. And the fields are going to be populated automatically. And we have something which says definition file. Now, what's a definition file? I wouldn't go that far as saying that it's full-fledged infrastructure as code, but it's really close. So what do we use there? Basically, we have files which we store on our SaltStack server. Granted, you can do that on Git, and you can do that on different servers, but for the purpose of the demo, we selected to store them on on our SaltStack server. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of the existing files and call it SaltConf. So when we open the file, as you can see, it's YAML, so it's nothing special really. It bears a description of in which ACI, what kind of resources you want to deploy. So I need tenant in the first ACI, which is going to be our web application tenant. I need an application profile. I'm going to have 2 EPGs. And then I'm going to have, I would need traffic on port 443 for my web, which is MSIS. That's Microsoft IIS server. And on the second ACI, I'm going to need a tenant for my DB. Same goes for an application profile, 2 EPGs, and then I need port 1521 for Oracle to be opened. So I save this file. I have it here. So what I have to do is just, I need to refresh the offering. There you go. And there you go. The file is available. So I'm going to select that file for provisioning. I'm going to click order now, check out. Fantastic, it's in, but it says it needs an approval. Yeah, I'm going to act as my manager and I'm going to approve my request. There you go. This is my approval, approve. There is our change request. Keep in mind, the change request is normal just for demo purposes, just to showcase you the approval process. So I'm going to do here assignment group. I'm just going to put the schedule start time, the schedule end time. I'm going to request an approval. Fantastic. Once again, I'm going to approve. There you go. And now I can move it in the implement state. Once in the implement state, ServiceNow will trigger the job in SaltStack. And it's really fast, so most probably I've missed it. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, most probably I've missed it. There you go. Now it just created my first tenant, and it's in my first ACI. Let's check what did it create. So there is my tenant. Well, it's a simulator, so it takes a bit longer to load, but bear with me. This is our application profile, and we have our two EPGs. And if I click on the application profile, if I click on the topology, there you go. You can see that the communication contract was created for these two EPGs. So we have firewall configured there. Apart from that, we can see that our firewall is present in this tenant. There you go. Fantastic, it's in there. So now I have to go on the second ACI, and as we can see, the tenant was created here as well. Let's check how it was created. If everything was created as supposed to. There you go. We have the application profile. We have the application EPGs. So everything is fine. Same as before. The communication contract should be in place, and our firewall should be configured here as well. There you go. Now I have to go and check my Palo Alto firewall. Just refresh. And there you go. I have configured the two policy rules now automatically for IIS and Oracle, so traffic is allowed. And last but not least, let's check vCenter. Oh, fantastic. Everything was propagated in vCenter as well. So we've got our application profile and we've got our EPGs for both ACIs. So we can go back and we say, oh, that's fantastic. It was done successfully. And just close. And I can close my request. So what happened now? All my resources were created successfully. And something important here, but that's going to be related to our use case number 3, is if we open the object browser. You can notice that for the tenant, the application profiles, etc., we have owner key, which is my name, and owner tag, that's the change request number, and the timestamp when it was implemented, right? So if I go in vCenter, and if I click on some of my EPGs, I can see the same here, which is quite important, and we'll see why. Right? And this was our first use case. And now let's go to our second use case, and it was the onboarding of new tenant. Similar to the one before, I'm going to click request new resources. Only this time I'm going to click quote resources. It's a different offering, but still the same. Same change request, same request. Here I'm going to select the SaltStack NetOps. I'm going to onboard a new tenant. I need to enter a V1. I don't know, let's 222 V1 and a network prefix. And granted, here you can do it automatically with your data center inventory system. For the purpose of the demo, we did it manually, but yeah, you can do it automatically. So my prefix will be 14, 15, 16 with mask 24. Further now. Once again, I need to go in my requests, and there is the request. I'm gonna do the same. Proof. You don't need the approval gates. You don't need the change requests. So everything is based on your organization. Once again, this is for just demonstration purposes. But yeah, up to your organization. I guess if you did that a couple of times, you can classify the change request as standard one, so you don't need the approvals, and it goes directly. So I'm going to request once again. So approve, and just say implement. There you go. Just to be on the safe side here, I'm going to save. All right. Okay, let's check SaltStack. Usually, yeah, that takes more time. So there you go. We kicked the jobs. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, it's doing whatever it's doing. If we check one of the jobs, for instance, there you go. So I can show you one of the jobs. And that's the XRV, Cisco XRV. There you go. It's configuring the devices. So now if we go and check, first of all, our IPAM or data center inventory. Yeah, there you go. Our changelog is really useful stuff. Our new VLAN and prefix were created successfully. Let's check them out. Yeah, it's active. And we have the proper prefix associated with it. And the prefix is created properly. Fantastic job. Then we can go, and this is our network setup. What we can do, first of all, let's check if the interface was created properly. Actually, it's enabled, so I don't need to do that. And yeah, you can see that v12222 was created properly, and we have our interface here created properly, and it's up. Fantastic. Then we can check the CSR, and that's the remote site or the customer location. Depends how you define the use case. Yeah, there you go. We have the PGP route here. And let's check if our client can reach the interface, the gateway. Yeah, it's pingable. Fantastic. There you go. And let's check our second firewall. We have a second Palo Alto, which is running here, as you can see. So let's check if we have a firewall along. Yep, you can see that v122 was configured on this address to permit SSH traffic, yeah, just for demo purposes. So now we have onboarded successfully a tenant. Yeah, we can mark this one as done. Okay. There you go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and close my change request. There you go. And I'm gonna show you something interesting here. Yeah, closed complete. Fantastic. Now, once you're done with your tenant, basically you can open the same offering. Let me show you something. Yep. Just select of port, and it will populate automatically the VLAN and the prefixes regardless of how many you have. So you don't need to enter them manually. You don't have to care. Once you click order now, they're going to be deleted instantly. Basically, I think we have a bit of time. I can show you that. So it goes the same way. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna be really quick here. Proof. Yeah. So there you go. Schedule for today and date tomorrow. Request approval. Just gonna approve. And then I'm gonna implement. There you go. Once this is done, yeah, Salt just kicks in. There you go. What's gonna happen is exactly the opposite of last time. So there you go. Just deleted the prefix in the VLAN, and if we go back in our and it's gone. So basically it's gone here, and if it's gone here, then it means most probably it's gone here as well. So if we go in our Palo Alto and check the Palo Alto, then yeah, the firewall is gone. So really, the commissioning is just as fast as provisioning software. And the last one, the last use case I want to show you is briefly connected. If you remember, I showed you in the object browser that the tenant had my owner key as name and my owner attack, right? So not mine, but change request as an owner attack and the timestamp. If I go on the second ACI and I can do the same for, let's say, the application profile, show it in object browser, you'll see that object browser as well has an owner key and owner attack. Now, I know not all of the objects in Cisco ACI have object owner attack and owner key, but all of them have annotation. So in the annotation, you have your change request number and the timestamp, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be playing the, the lazy network administrator, and I'll say, you know what, I don't want to open a change request just because I want a new tenant. So what I'm going to do there, I'm going to create my tenant manually, and that should be fine. There you go. We are going to create a rogue tenant. Yeah, I don't care about the rules. I don't need a change request for that. So there you go. I'm going to open my newly created tenant. If we open that tenant in the object browser, yeah, yeah, oops, once again, was a bit too fast. There you go. Yeah, okay, I give up. It doesn't find it for some reason, but let me check again. The idea is that it doesn't have an owner tag and owner key. Probably I didn't click on the object itself. So yeah, my bad. There you go. Yeah, it doesn't have the owner key, owner tag. So what's going to happen is if I go back in ServiceNow, and if I click on incidents, I'll immediately get an incident created by SaltStack that an unauthorized change was detected. Basically, this was created, and this is the configuration which was created as unauthorized. And that can be used for remediation, by the way. So in essence, you can use that to delete the tenant or change back the configuration, revert back the configuration. And that goes the same for application profiles. So if you click on create a new application profile, right? So let's say I already created the tenant, so I had the change request for tenant, but I want something on top of that. So new unauthorized application profile, I'll call it. Gonna submit it. There you go. I've just created a new application profile. And yeah, once again, it's not authorized. So if I open it in the object browser, once again, I was too quick, but yeah, it doesn't have the owner tag and the owner key. Once again, we'll get an incident. So I'm going to do two changes here this time. I'm going to do a change on EPG. I'm not going to create anything new like EPG or application profile or a tenant, but rather I'll do some change on the EPG itself. So I'm going to deploy a static EPG here on interface, let's say. There you go. It's done. So now if I go back in, I'll get 3 incidents, right? So I'll get an incident because obviously the first one was for the newly created application profile, right? So there you go, new unauthorized AP. So yeah, I created an application profile. So once again, I have what was created. There is an email sent to the network team or whatever team you need, maybe security teams. And this is the configuration which was created and where. Similar to that, if we go and click on this one, right, we can see that one of the EPG was changed. Yeah, and this is the change which was done on the EPG, right? On top of that, you can create, we can extend it easily to show which user did the configuration change and include auto remediation here as well. Basically, it's a beacon within SaltStack which reacts, and there is a reactor. And yeah, each time someone does a configuration, we instantly get, there you go, we instantly get a job, right? So there you go, we've got the job. Yeah, orchestration job, what happens, and this is the reactor. There you go. There is a configuration change. And once it's unauthorized, we'll get second job within SaltStack, which just creates the record in ServiceNow. Right, so there you go. It creates it in ServiceNow. Yeah, so it's based in essence in on syswalk. So it's not applicable just to ACI. Basically, you can do that for any device, right? You can configure any beacon to any device. So in essence, it's really simple to do that for any kind of device. For the sake of this demo, we did it for the ACI device because it says the end. It's more interesting, I guess, this new technology. But yeah. So yeah. With this, I'm concluding the demo, and here I'm gonna leave a couple of minutes for questions. So if you have any questions, please send them in chat or raise them with audio and video if you want to. I'm gonna put the Q&A here.
Thank you, Stoyan. Yeah, chat has been relatively quiet. So it looks like there have just been a couple of questions about some of the aspects of our presentation here, and just so that everybody is aware, recordings of this will be available after the conference. So if there's anything that you wanted to play back and go over, in particular, if there are any concerns with quality of the video or some parts that need clarification, by all means, either bring those up in chat, or you will have an opportunity to look at those in a little closer detail in the post-conference recordings.
it might be a good idea to, if anyone is interested, we can send you recordings of the use cases of the demo. That's not a problem. We have them on files. Just let us know. We can upload them somewhere and you can download them. We have a YouTube channel. They're going to be uploaded there as well. So yeah, I guess if quality is an issue now, we can upload them there and we can send you the link, of course.
The question, Stoyan, about whether or not this ServiceNow integration is out of the box.
No, not really. No, we did create the ServiceNow integration. There is an application which you can download out of the box, but we created something on our own, so it's not out of the box, but it's something that we are gonna get on the ServiceNow store soon, I hope, so you can use our implementation. But to be honest with you, to be frank, it's not that difficult. I don't think it's gonna cost anything. It's gonna be free of charge, so you can use it. But yeah, we are just using the API capabilities of SaltStack Enterprise to do that.
And to give a little bit more detail there is... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to add here that almost everything here in this demonstration is homegrown. Netbox, we extended the Netbox module. We extended all of the modules that were used for the purpose of the demo. So almost everything here is in the demo is homegrown. We have ready-made Cisco ACI integration module. Of course, it's only the essential part, but we're extending that to be full-fledged Cisco ACI module. Thanks.
To give a little bit more context, there is an existing application in the ServiceNow store that includes integration with SaltStack Enterprise. Typically, that's focused management use case. And so as a result, a lot of that information is traveling in the ServiceNow to SaltStack Enterprise direction rather than vice versa. So again, that's from the point of view of ServiceNow. If you wanted to establish particular parts of your workflow that would reach into SaltStack Enterprise, that includes queries of specific groups of targets, to formalize any of the targeting, things like that, essentially to kick off any jobs that might be part of a ServiceNow change management workflow. So in a lot of cases, if there's third-party ticket management or anything like that, anything that would happen outside of a direct link from ServiceNow to SaltStack Enterprise, there would then be a need to write some of your own content. So those are the things that do happen out of the box. Pretty much anything outside of those confines is something that would have to happen, using either the existing ServiceNow execution module in Salt or API calls that you create and execute on your own.
Yeah, I can see one more question from Michal, and that is there a guide how to create infrastructure to run Salt Enterprise from ServiceNow and then get activity status back to ServiceNow workflow? Well, that's exactly what we did in essence. I wouldn't say we found such a guide, but basically the API of SaltStack is documented excellent. So it's excellent documentation which you can get. The rest is using the workflow within ServiceNow and basically just creating your pugs there. So I wouldn't say there is a guide for that, but the documents are in there. You just have to put them together. It's just a question of getting the right stuff. But if you're interested, we can give you a hand with that. Right? A question from David Russell: will any of the demo code be shared? Well, I don't know which code you mean, SaltStack or ServiceNow, but we haven't had any plans for it. Of course, yeah, we can get in touch and provide you something if you're interested. Then I have a question from Mike. In the context of what you just demonstrated, what do you consider to be realistic alternatives to Cisco ACI? A good question, actually. Mike, I would say, I see that Juniper is quite active in that sense, and they have two alternatives. One is Enterprise, which is the North Star controller, I believe is the name. And the second one is, I can't remember the name, but it's an open source version. And then you have
OpenDay.
Yeah, thank you, OpenDay, right? Then you've got the VMware NSX. It really depends. I mean, yeah, they are valid alternatives.
But when it comes to architecture, you need something on top of that if you need to drive the hybrid networks or traditional networks. So this is the role of the SaltStack, as we showed earlier in the slides.
All right, let's see if I missed some of the questions, and I apologize. I apologize if I did. I don't see more questions. Well, if you have any more questions, please feel free to contact us. Yeah, my LinkedIn profile is posted, so you can just friend me on LinkedIn, connect with me, and send me the question, or you can, contact Do It Twice directly. Up to you. We'll be happy to answer your questions.
And there are a number of ways throughout the day, through the conference platform itself, to be able to contact anybody from SaltStack if we need to, as long as you know which specific presenters or which specific session you were attending. If you have questions that might bubble up after the fact, we can certainly get you guys in contact as well.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So to provide a little bit more, since we don't have any new questions, one of the use cases that we typically see, and I'm speaking here as a SaltStack solutions engineer, so I'm biased, obviously, is that Salt has the opportunity to provide a lot of linkage between other systems. Where typically with something like Cisco ACI or Juniper Enterprise, we'll see. The temptation is to get into essentially vendor lock-in, and I know that in particular there are a lot of organizations that want to avoid that. Salt can be that kind of tool that avoids being stuck with single vendor management. So particularly where we see a lot of heterogeneous infrastructures, we see a lot of usage of Salt to kind of be able to tie all of those things together or provide a common backplane. And that's true of both disparate network infrastructures, as well as where we have teams that are combining system maintenance and or general IT operations functionality with network management as well. So there are a lot of schools of thought on exactly how to do that. And obviously there's the potential of what you guys might consider to be vendor lock-in in using Salt, but ultimately those things are they're doable things, and the flexibility of Salt as a tool itself gives us a lot of ways to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I can add on top of that you can watch one of the next sessions. By the way, they're going to talk about native minions on Cisco devices, which gets the job even more leaner and faster and cleaner, I would say so. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So highly recommended to follow up with that session. I think it's going to get the picture together, right? So I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, a lot of, actually, to clarify, since I'm moderating that session as well, there's the Cisco specific native minion content will probably not be as prominently featured, but they will discuss in great detail the containerization of Salt masters and minions to be able to handle. In IBM's use case, they're looking at managing about 77 or 80,000 network devices using SaltStack Enterprise. So a lot of that will be the infrastructure and deployment and working with many different network types or network device types in that case. Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you all for joining. We have a little bit of passing time between sessions, so I know that my next presenter is asking me about getting ready for that, so I will let you guys go. By all means, feel free to look in other parts of the platform. Really take the opportunity to explore, and by all means, if there's anything that you need from any of the other sessions, by all means, let us know. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have fun.
Enjoy.
And stay salty. Cheers.
Cheers.